Đây là thành phố Uppsala của nước Thụy Điển. Thành phố này ở miền Bắc, nó cũng xa chỗ tôi ở cũng nhiều. Diện tích tổng cộng dân số là 166.698. Diện tích thành phố đó là 2.234 km². Mỗi chỗ thì nó có kiến trúc cũng gần giống nhau và cũng xê xích chút xíu mọi người. Tôi thấy đất nước này đất rộng, thành ra dân số thì rất ít. Thì để tôi nói thêm lại là tổng dân số của tổng diện tích của đất nước Thụy Điển là 450.295 km². Gần 11 triệu người chứ chưa đầy 11 triệu người nha mọi người. Còn diện tích Việt Nam mình là 331.690 km². Dân số hiện nay 2026 tôi xem nó là 101 triệu người rồi. Bên đó thì đất nhỏ hơn đất Thụy Điển nhưng mà lại dân số thì cao hơn. Ở đây thì nói chung đời sống sinh xã hội đồ nói là rất tốt. Đi làm thất nghiệp, nhà nước cũng lo. Và như phụ nữ mà có sanh đẻ đó thì được ở nhà ăn tiền mà lãnh tiền mà ở hưu nuôi con đồ này kia cũng khá mọi người. Thì hôm nay chị nói những vài lời cho mọi người biết như vậy. Và đây là thành phố Uppsala của đất nước Thụy Điển, thành phố đứng thứ 4 của nước Thụy Điển nha mọi người. Rất mong mọi người xem và ủng hộ.
Uppsala, pronunciation I, older spelling Uppsala, is an urban area in Uppland, the center of Uppsala municipality and the seat of Uppsala county. It is Sweden's fourth largest urban area with 174,982 inhabitants, 2023, in the urban area, while the entire municipality has approximately 250,000 inhabitants, 2025, Sedan, since 1164. Uppsala has been the ecclesiastical center of Sweden with its archbishopric seat within the Church of Sweden. Uppsala Cathedral is, in addition to being the archbishopric seat within the Church of Sweden, also the largest church in Scandinavia. Uppsala University, founded in 1477, is the oldest seat of higher education in the Nordic countries. Name the city's earliest name was Östra Aros, where Aros, the original name, means river mouth and refers to the outlet of the Fyrisån River into Lake Mälaren. Östra was added to distinguish the city from Västra Aros, Västerås. The town of Uppsala, Uppsalam, late 9th century, i.e. Upsalam, was located north of Östra Aros, and from 1164 it was the seat of the archbishop. When the archbishop's seat was moved to Östra Aros around 1273, the name Upsala followed and Östra Aros became Uppsala. The town that had previously had the name Uppsala was called Gamla Uppsala. The name Uppsala was added as a comparison with the former village of Sala, the current Sala Back district. 8. Up means the Sala located further up. Sala is the plural of Sal, which has been interpreted in two different ways. One interpretation is that it means simpler building, and another interpretation is party hall. 9. History main article. History of Uppsala. View of Uppsala with Uppsala Cathedral in the 18th century, by Elias Martin. Note that the church's spires have changed since then, as a result of several renovations and reconstructions after a fire in 1702. Map of Uppsala from the 1790s. Uppsala city egos, on the Haraldsekonomiska map from 1859. The canal streets with the Nybron Bridge. Lithograph by Alexander Ney. 1870. Map of Uppsala, 1920. Today's Uppsala was previously called Östra Aros. And the current Gamla Uppsala was then called Uppsala, 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 with several spellings. At this time, the Fjärden extended as far as Östra Aros, which was Uppsala's port. Östra Aros took over the name Uppsala when the archdiocese was moved in the 1280s. The waterways via Stäcket and Ekholm from Mälaren northward made the place an early hub for trade in primarily fur goods from forest areas northward and inland. Uppsala Cathedral was consecrated in 1435. Documents that more or less directly concern its privileges exist from the beginning of the 14th century. Actual confirmations of the privileges from 1497 as a town. However, Östra Aros is first mentioned in 1164-67, and there was already a market town here in the 12th century. Coinage began in the city around 1200. 10. Uppsala is first mentioned as a city in 1300, and the oldest city seal dates from 1302. 11. Based on archaeological findings. The city's oldest settlements appear to have been located on both sides of the Sedan River, between Dombron and Islandsbron down to the harbour. Dendrochronological studies of building timber have shown that the oldest timber appears to have been felled around 1100. In the period 1100 to 1200, the timber consists exclusively of oak. Then from 1200 to 1340 of pine and oak, and from 1340 almost exclusively of pine. The change may be linked to a change from shift mill houses to timbered houses, but may also be linked to increased urbanization or reduced timber availability. 11. The parts of the city arose partly around a royal estate, probably furthest south towards Kungsängen and within the current Kungsangs, as well as Vorfrueten, where St. Maria or Vorfrukirken, first mentioned in the 1220s, was also located. Partly north to the Svartbacken, which later almost dried up and which flows into the Sedan River, over which the former road from Old Uppsala ran, over Tova Bridge, whose name is still present in the Toven quarter. In this northern part of the city, St. Per's Church has existed, apart from a younger chapel, and a Franciscan monastery, founded in the 13th century. In the middle of the riverbank was the square and the city's town hall. The lower parts of the western bank have also had old memories, such as St. Eric's Chapel and a hospital. On Dombegay, the cathedral probably began to be built in the 1270s. Helga Trefaldighet's church is older, probably at least from the beginning of the 13th century. The Dom Trafusit, which was previously assumed by Nils Sundqvist, among others, to have originally been a castellan from the 12th century in a ring-walled castle that had been on Dombegay before the cathedral was built, is now dated to the end of the 13th century. In the middle of the river was Fyrisholmen, later Studentholmen, where the city's oldest university was located, now Kvarnholmen, more restricted in scope than before, a little further down. Then as now, a bridge, the oldest known, led across to the square. At the very bottom, on both sides of the river, was and is Icelandet, probably so called after the ice that was thrown up on the banks during the spring floods. The two banks were also connected here by two bridges. Everywhere the city was probably built very irregularly, and had not undergone any significant improvement until the 17th century, although several fires, larger ones in 1236, 1266, 1269, 1310, 1447, 1464, year uncertain,